Hello everybody, my friends. Good afternoon from Bangkok, Thailand. And I wanted to give you about 10 minutes of little exercises that you can do. It's the holiday season and you might be finding life is too busy. If you're watching this anyway around the holidays, life gets really busy around the holiday and a lot of times our exercise goes to the wayside. And I want to give you about 10 minutes of movement that you can do to help you feel like you are still in the groove. Now, are you going to make great gains with this? Probably not, but at least you can feel like you're still in the game, you're maintaining what you've done, or even if you're new to exercising, this might be perfect for you. The other thing is that maybe you've got 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, another 10 minutes later that you can sneak this in. I literally, when my kids were little, I would sneak into my bathroom sometimes and go ahead and do some exercises just to sneak in a few things and keep my day going, keep my energy going, keep myself feeling like I'm still maintaining my level of fitness through the craziness of the holidays. With no further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So you see right here, I am on a dining room chair. If you have a cushion like this on your chair, make sure that it's secured. So that one is tied. That one is tied in. And I have some dumbbells off to the side. You can see those. Maybe you can't right yet, but you'll see them soon. And then I have tubing, exercise tubing behind me. I also have an option of a water bottle, which I'm going to drink, but you could use a water bottle for some of the movements that we will do, not all. And you could use a smaller water bottle. The beautiful thing about a water bottle is that you can adjust your resistance by having less or more water. If you want even more resistance, maybe a milk jug with a couple handles are going to give you a feeling of having a little bit of resistance. If you don't have it though, don't worry, because we can use our body weight and our tempo to still feel like we're accomplishing a lot. So as you see, I'm on a chair right now, and the chair is a perfect thing for us to go ahead and start to do our squats. So I'm setting up my feet about shoulder width apart. My toes are at about 2 minutes to midnight on the right, 2 minutes to midnight on the left. And all I'm going to do is stand up. Make sure the chair is not too far away behind you or that you've shifted. You're going to push your butt back and stand up. And maybe we're just going to do about 10 of these. And if I want to have a little bit of resistance, either with my water bottle or a dumbbell, which I happen to have a set close by, I can hold that here and I can add a little bit of resistance. As I'm doing this, I am maintaining integrity through my spine, not rounding my back, not arching my back, staying in a neutral position. I'm engaging my core to support my spine. And I'm going to do just one more of these. And then I'm going to show you with your tubing, if you happen to have an exercise tube or a TheraBand that you might have from physical therapy. A lot of us have those laying around. So maybe you don't have a water bottle or one that feels like it's going to give you resistance. I can stand on my tubing. If my tubing is strong enough and long enough, I can bring it here and sit down and stand up. So there I have another option. If that's too hard, you can hold it at your waist as well. And then since I have the tubing, and by the way, you want that under the middle or the arch of your shoe. Make sure you're really pressing on that with your foot so it doesn't slide up and slap you in the face or the leg or whatever. So I'm taking my tubing. I have, let me bring it a little bit closer so you can see, I have the handles in my hands, and then I walk the tubing in my fingers a little bit. And that is going to help me figure out how much resistance I want. I'm going to start right here with my hands. My arms are in a V, so slightly wider than my shoulders. My elbows are nice and straight, shoulders down. My knuckles are not here, or my wrists are not here or here. So my knuckles are kind of facing right towards you. I'm going to come out nice and wide into a T, and then into a little bit wider V than where I started, so that I keep the resistance on and activated. I'm focusing on the mid back, what I'm feeling through my mid back, all you need is maybe about 10 reps, right? So I'm not counting, but if you are doing this, you want to count through it. And there I have a little bit of mid-back and back of the shoulder work happening. Then I'm going to bring it up here, about the same distance apart with my hands, but again, you can slide in or out depending on if you want more resistance, bring your hands closer. If you want less resistance, bring your hands wider. I'm going to pull it down to the top of my chest and then bring the arms up, keeping a little bit of resistance on that tubing. Be sure that we set our shoulders down, like we're setting our shoulder blades into the back pockets of our jeans. So you'll feel your shoulder blades sliding down and in along the spine. If you don't feel that, you've got to mentally engage your mind into what the muscles are doing. So start to focus on that as well. And that might be a big thing for you to be doing right now. Sometimes when we're in classes, we're just moving and following the instructor's choreography or what they're doing, and we're not always thinking about what's happening with our body. I'm just going to do one more. So this is a lat pull down. So you could do 10 reps of that, 10 reps of your squats, 10 reps of your reverse flies. And then I'm going to take this and place it underneath my feet, and I'm going to go into a seated row. So right now, we're putting some focus into our back. We did a little bit of legs. We're going to go back to legs soon. What I've done is I've put this underneath my feet. It's at the arch of my shoe. I've crisscrossed my tubing. I'm going to sit up tall, shoulders back and down, and pull. Again, a neutral wrist with this, meaning that your hands, the top of your hands are pretty much in line with your wrist or the top of your forearm. You don't want to be having your wrist cocked either way, okay? So we're really trying to maintain neutral position. Do 10 of these, and maybe this feels really good and we want to activate our core a little bit. I'm going to rest my left hand. I think this is going to be your left hand. I'm opposite of you. And I am going to pull and rotate. I like to think of somebody is maybe trying to steal my purse off my shoulder, and I'm just going to give them a little bit of an elbow jab behind me so that they cannot get away with my purse. Because it is the season also for petty theft and a little bit of people just stealing things off your body, out of your pockets, whatever. And after I've completed 10 of those, then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Again, I'm not counting this time, so you're going to want to go through this and count your reps if you would like to, or just to the point of fatigue. But again, like I promised you, we're going to keep this at 10 minutes approximately for our exercise. So there I've done a lot of back work. And then I'm going to change the tubing so that now it's uncrossed. I'm lengthening my legs. If you don't have a good arch in your shoe, meaning your shoe is pretty flat on the bottom, you might want to be sure to put your feet down on the floor and step on that tube so it doesn't slide up. Elbows are at my side. I'm going to curl my hands towards my shoulders. My elbows are staying in line with this. If you have a seam on the side of your shirt, if you can imagine that the inside of your arm and your elbow are going to stay pretty much in line with that. And you could even stand up with this as another option. This is going to give me a little bit more resistance. Why? Because I have now stood up. I've got a longer length for that tubing to have to work through. And then we finish that rep. We're going to take it next to tricep. And I do have a bench behind me, so if you have a bench and you want to use that instead of your chair, that's an option. Tricep, this gets a little tricky for people, but I'm going to have the handle in my left hand and a handle in my right, and then I take my right hand and I place it about maybe 8 inches or something like that, close to the left handle. Place my hand on my shoulder to stabilize the tubing, and I'm going to extend and bring it in. I am not coming up all the way here where the resistance stops. I want to keep resistance on the whole way. Why? Because we're not doing a lot of reps. However, if you feel any discomfort or fatigue, then feel free to go ahead and stop and rest for a second and then start back in to your reps. So this is working the back of my arm. This is a kickback. One, I'm going to do one more. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm turning so that you can see what I'm doing. Plus, I might not want to hit the back of my chair, so those are things for you to think about. And so now I just switch my hands, and this is where people get confused, but go ahead and rest your left hand on your right shoulder and kick it back and bring it in. And you're gonna know whether you're getting enough resistance. That felt pretty easy for me, so I'm walking my hand up the tubing towards the other handle so that I have more resistance. So the further away my hand would be, the less resistance. The closer to the other handle, the more resistance I'm going to get. And you're going to keep going until you've completed around 10 repetitions. Now I've done my arms, I've done my back. If you wanted to do something with your chest, you could wrap this around the back of your chair. Again, making sure that it's not going to slide up and smack you. And I have to come forward, depending on the length of your tubing, I have to come forward a little bit. And I'm making sure I could wrap this around in between the bars of the chair, and that's going to secure it a little bit better for me. Okay, I'm doing just one more. But you'll take it to at least 10 reps, and then I'm going to be done with the tubing. A lot of this, now chest press you really can't do with the weights unless you're laying down on the bench or on the floor or on your bed, wherever you might be. And then I'm going to use a weight, but you don't have to use a weight. We're going to come up and we're going to take it to a single leg deadlift. You can hang on to your chair or not hang on to a chair. It's up to you depending on what your body can handle. I'm going to tip from the hip and rise up. So I'm doing a single leg deadlift. We're going to do that for 10 repetitions and then switching to the other side. Same thing. Lift, edges in my way, and come up and lower and up. Core is engaged. We are trying to maintain our hips square to the floor with that. The other thing that you could do is to lunge back, knee up, maybe just a few of these on each side. And that is everything in a quick 10-minute workout that you can do. If you have any questions, please let me know. Again, my name is Phyllis. I don't think I introduced myself, but you probably know me. And that's it for today. Bye, Merry Christmas.